Okay, so here we are again. I thought I'd just show you how to finish that bale. And this is where we left off. Here's the beads. Okay, it's gonna kind of be like that. Just wait, Sasha. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this wire down and I'm gonna bend it around to hold these wires down. Let's see. I've got a new tool and it's a flat pliers, a tweezer jaw pliers, the real peaked. And I was kind of excited to try these pliers out. So I'm gonna crush these wires together first, because these wires here are what's gonna make the bale. Just carefully kind of crush these together. And then I'm going to bend them up and wrap around them. Okay. All right. We're going to break this wire off after a while. And I did say break. So now what I'm going to do is have this wire come right around. It's going to have a sharp bend. And I'm going to clip it off. I got some new nippers. Because I use the tip a lot, my old nippers, the tip was broken off and I kind of exhausted those. So when I snip small wires to keep them from flying, I always put my thumb over the top of them. Otherwise, they can go flying. You can get them in your foot. Your pets can get them in their paw. And so I always put my thumb over the top when I clip my wires. So I managed this so the sharp end of this wire is going to be on the inside. It's going to be covered up. And you need to take off just a little bit more. See, I'm holding my thumb over where it's going to come out of the, flying out of the pliers. Or nippers, I mean. And be careful of that stuff. All right. All right. So I'm going to hold that bead there. And I'm going to flatten that down a little bit on this wire. Make sure that it's pushed down all the way. It's going to be tricky for a moment. It's going to be a little fiddly. But we're going to make sure that that is flat. And the end of it is kind of tucked in these wires here. See if I can get a close-up. If my cam will let me. See, I'm tucking it in. Now I'm going to bring these wires up on a sharp bend. Let me just put this in place a little tighter. Still kind of loose. This is a little fiddly, and I'm trying to keep it in the camera so you can see what I'm doing. It's a little fiddly. I'm gonna press that down even tighter. There, now it's not so floppy. All right. That's it. Now I'm gonna hold it with my thumbs there and bend these wires up. This is 18 gauge dead soft wire and 24 gauge dead soft copper wire. Now I'm going to bend these guys up. They're going to get bent. I'm going to bend them straight up. And this is what I got. So they're all straight up. I'm going to pinch them together a little bit. Actually, just check these bends. That's good. Kind of push them together a little bit. Now, I'm going to leave a little tail down here in case I need some extra wire, but I'm going to have to cut this off now because I need to start wrapping this 24 gauge around to make a bale. So I'm going to leave a little tail just in case I need a little more. I probably won't need it, but we'll see. There was a kink. I think it was right there. So I'm going to cut this off and where I had a kink in that wire because that was a weak spot. So I didn't want to use it anyways. And here I'm going to start wrapping this 24 gauge around. So you don't want to get a kink in your wire. I'm going to straighten out the wire before I start. And it's easier to straighten your wire when it's on the roll. I'm just going to unroll a little bit. And I use tape on here to keep my wire tight on the roll. Otherwise, it'll just spring off. It's like a big spring. So I just keep it taped up. I like to work off the roll. A lot of people don't like to work off the roll. They just measure out what they need. But I'm not that good to do that. So, all right, I have a piece of wire here. I can tuck this up inside to hide it. I can tuck that right up inside the bale. Just be a little fiddly here. Get it straight. And then I can wrap over the top of that. I want to start? I want to be able to leave my ends of my wires underneath. So I'm going to start underneath this wire here. So when I break it off, it's underneath. The end will be tucked in underneath. Now I'm just going to start doing a very simple wrap all around this whole group here. Keeping them all pushed down. Trying to hold the same amount of tension on the wire that I'm wrapping around so that all of my wraps here are kind of equally the same tension. And I'm just going to wrap up to the end. Sometimes you gotta stop and make sure they're all flattened out. These wires I'm talking about. Okay, then just keep wrapping. Now I'm going to get a kink in here. This needs to be turned once in a while. That spool. See, it wants to kink. And I'm probably going to need just a little bit more. I'm kind of to the end now where I can see. I'm going to just take off one more row of copper wire and clip it. I'd rather have enough than not enough. So, cut spool right there. Come on. Stuck to the tape. All right. Let me just keep these in the camera so you know what I'm working with. Now, and we're finishing the bale. We're working on the bale. And to just recap what I went over, we are keeping the wires that we clipped off, like this one here. We're going to keep them covered. There's an end of a wire there, and it would be the one that's going across. This one right here. That wire. This wire. That big one. We're going to keep that covered because it has an opening. It's not sharp anyways, but we're still going to bend this bale back. And we're going to bend it around so the ends of these wires are tucked inside too. You don't want to leave any ends of scratchy wires sticking out on your stuff. So I'm just going to keep wrapping around and pushing it down tight as we finish off this bale. Keeping the tension the same as best as possible. And I'm going to break the end of this one off instead of cutting it. And I'm going to do that right now before I wrap anymore. So what I'm going to do is take my needle nose tweezers and just keep bending this back and forth. And what I want to do is break that tail off, because cutting it, always leaves a little edge, always leaves a little piece. And I found that breaking them off, you don't have that. So what I'm going to do is keep wrapping now over where that is removed. And even if when I bend it down, it's still going to be on the inside of the bale. I always leave one on the inside. All right. I think that might be long enough for the bale. I'm just going to wrap a little bit more because it's always good to have a little bit extra instead of not enough. All right. Let's push that down. Getting to the end, folks. This is the end. Beautiful friend. The end. I'm just going to rewrap that. You can take it apart and rewrap if you want to, if something doesn't look right. I'm not going to go into detail about that right now, but just take my word for it. There. Just right up to the end. Okay. Then I'm just going to end by trying to squeeze this in between the wires. Pulling it tight. And I'm going to break it off. That's it. I can't even feel the end of that wire. So now that we have that done, we're going to bend this around and make the bale. I'm going to slide my bead up, take an overall, and it came off. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that lovely? Okay, so what I'm going to have to do see, it keeps coming off. So we're going to have to get that. We're going to have to get that stable. So it's going to have to wrap around. Change of plans. Change of plans. Isn't that like life, though? Going along, shit don't turn out right. Change of plans. All right. Let's just make it a little fancy. We'll make a loop around this whole thing. And I want these pliers for the job. Glad I have a little extra wire on this. So I'm just going to pull this wire tight, really tight, and just bring it around so it won't do that again. Okay, there we go. I'm going to press it down flat. I'm going to nip it off again. when my end went flying. So now what I'm going to do, because I have a cutoff end here, I'm going to bring the bale around and try and get it tucked under. I don't have my bending pliers, so hold on a second. I had everything put away. I brought it back out. So, okay, now we have this wrapped around the bottom of the bale. It won't come off. Now what I'm going to do is bend this around to make the loop for the bale. And to do that, I have these barrel tubes. I think about the middle would work best. And I'm just gonna, I can already tell I'm gonna be cutting some of this off. So I'm gonna come around and start bending. Just nice and gently bend that whole thing. And get it in place. And when I cut this end off here, that end, I want it to tuck up underneath. So what I'm going to do is start bringing this end down. Sasha is so spoiled. Okay. I'm going to use the little bit smaller side and just bend that in. I'm going to trim off just a little bit, and I'm going to keep my thumbs over them this time because I don't want those to go flying. There. So see what I'm doing? I'm bending it around to make a bale. Let me see. That's what I'm doing. And this will hold the chain. I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. Sasha wants to play, and the other person just took a break, and they're back. They're back to play some more. Oh, hey, wait. What you got there? Oh, okay. I thought it was something so she could take her pill. Okay. We don't want to give her that. See, this ain't even sharp. These are really nice nippers. Did a good job on that. So now I'm going to fold this over. So it's tucked in. Just like that. Straighten it out a little bit. Hit it with the flat side. And I moved my mouse and I think I lost myself here. Am I still here? Yes, I didn't boot myself. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm known for being an occupational hazard, so that's what you have. Okay, so now that I have my wires covered up, just want to make sure everything is in place. Slide my bead up. almost looks like a music note from the other side. All right. To bring this bead up. She is so cute. She is. She is really doing good. She's learning. She's smart. She's a good dog. Okay. And then now I'm going to swoop this bottom wire. And I'm going to want to tuck it in on the bottom again. Let me see what we're doing here. Let's get this top Bale straightened out. Because all I really wanted to do is show you how to make the Bale. And I'm really happy to see some people that are interested in wire wrapping, especially in my family. And that's why I've been doing a lot of these videos. It's basically for them, whether they're here or not watching right now. They could be at work, but this is a reference for them to come back to later on. They have we have artists in our family that we all do all kinds of art. So let me we got some of them that are doing diorama right now. We got some of them that are doing the pour painting. We got some that are doing wire work. And I think I influenced a lot of people in my family to do art. And they all enjoy it. So I want to break this one off. Get this out of my way. Just break that off. Wiggling it back and forth. Make sure that you don't feel anything. Because that, these wires will snag your clothes and scratch your skin. And you don't want that and your jewelry. So now we got to come to an end. We have to come to an end. And oh, don't yawn. That's so contagious. All right. So what I'm going to do is loop this around so it catches good. And hopefully the cut will be on the inside. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe just bring this wire up. Let me trim this off. Get it out of the way. I'm going to bring this end up and just loop it around there and end it. I think I have enough. I think I might have too much, but we'll see. We'll just see. Let's bend it around. And I want to end it so the ends, the cutoff ends, are flush with what's inside. So it looks like I'm going to have to cut some off. And I've got a pattern to do an owl. I have not tried it yet, but I'm really interested in doing the wire wrap owl. And I think I'll do a practice one first before I talk about it, because I can always add my experience in with these tutorials to when I do the videos. So I'm tucking the end of that wire inside, and then I'm going to cut these wires and just get them so they meet and they're flush. So here goes. I mean, this could either make me or break me right now. I always get nervous when I got to make these kind of cuts at the end. Should I say a prayer first? I almost had my nippers turned the wrong way. You want to do the flush side when you end these, not the beveled side. Checking both sides to make sure that I only have a hold of the wires I want to cut. Check your work twice, do the work once. It's the same as Carpenter's rule. Measure twice, cut once. All right, we have the end cut.
Measure once, cut once.
What'd you say?
That wastes too much time. Measure right the first time.
Measure twice, cut once.
No, measure right the first time.
I'll measure right the first time. Yeah, but I still got it checked. Okay. So now I am going to use these tweezers and I'm going to snug the end right up there. So it's flush. Sorry, my thumb was covering my work. I just want to make sure there's nothing sharp. And this is done. And this is usable from both sides. There it is. I got another piece done. This could be an earring. It's really not that heavy for an earring if you're used to wearing like a string of beads on your ear. I mean, it's comparable. It's about the same. So, otherwise, you could put this on a zipper. You could put this on a keychain. You could put this on a chain and wear it. Your mileage varies. I don't know what people do with this stuff. I just make it. There we go. That piece is done. And I'm done for the day. I'm going to go outside and enjoy some sunshine. You know, it's pretty cold out. We have, I think, 5 to 8 inches of snow coming tomorrow. So I'll probably be back on tomorrow when the weather is nasty. And, you know, hell, just make it a marathon week. Why not? You guys, see you in the next video. Show some love. Give me some thumbs up. I mean, have a good day.